Richmond get the job done against Geelong as both teams search for their first win of 2021. The Doggies entertain the Giants. Can the Doggies amend their finals prospects against a tough, resilient Giant side? Battle of two Giants, Fremantle versus Brisbane. Who'll come out on top here? Carlton missing their superstar in Pasparkis. How will they get on in Tasmania? St Kilda have impressed many with a tough trip to Adelaide. How will they get on against the Crows? The Pies have surprised many. Looking in the top four at the moment, they have a tough opposition here against Melbourne. How will they get on? Eagles and the Suns both have had a disappointing year. Who will come out on top in this intriguing battle? Hello everyone, welcome back to Pommyinoz. This is the wrap up of the wonderful AFLW week we've had. If you are new around here, please drop a like, please drop a sub. We've got the men starting soon as well, so we'll be really full on into content of them as well as the girls. So stick around, plenty of content, a lot of variety. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, help your Uncle Pom out. So without any further ado, let's get into it. And the first game we'll look at is Richmond. They defeated the Geelong Cats by 47. And it finally happened for Richmond. They got their first ever victory in the AFLW. And it was a big one at that, putting Geelong away by 47 at the GMHBA. The Tigers girls really displayed a potency in attack and they dominated in the centre, with Monique Conte playing with her own ball at times. She had 27 touches and 2 tackles, and one of the beneficiaries of Conte's hard work and outstanding work, we have to say, was Katie Brennan, who herself helped herself to 17 touches and obviously kicked 3 well taken goals. Geelong really had no answer out in the middle, and really up forward, Sabrina Frederick and Mackenzie both finished with a goal and a behind a piece, and they often just got loose from their opposite number and acted as a conduit, which did result in greater things. Amy McDonald for Geelong, she had 17 touches and a goal herself, and Garling too, she had 18 touches and put up a bit of a fight. But it was a tough day at the office for Geelong, and it was only made worse with early in the second, Purcell going off with what looks like it could be a season-ending injury. What's alarming for the Cats is really they've gone 13 goalless quarters this year, and you can't win games like that. Richmond will take delight in the fact that they finally clicked. Hoskin and Wakefield as well added something. It's coming together. I've been saying it all season. Once it clicks, they have got the makings of a good team. The goals then, Cranston and Amy McDonald for Geelong got the goals for them. Brennan 3, Wakefield 2, Seymour, Mackenzie, Frederick and Jacks for Richmond. Best on ground, McDonald, Higgins and Gehring for Geelong. Conte, Brennan and Mackenzie for Richmond. Looking ahead, Geelong, they have a tough trip to Icon Park to play the Carlton girls, who will definitely be ingrained and endeavour to get a victory against the Cats. Doesn't get any easier in this game. Richmond, obviously, they face North, which will be a tough game for them, but they'll have done enough this week to really take heart and feel like that they can be at least competitive. Up next then was the Bulldogs. They defeated the Giants by 25, and the Doggies made it 4 from 4, didn't they? They put away, though, a really resilient and tough GWS side. Huntington, she put on a clinic though up forward, finishing with her best tally in the AFLW with 3 goals. But for perhaps what was more exciting for the Doggies fans was Bonnie Toogood. Also, she grabbed 3, and they've got a really dynamic and really firing forward line, and it's going to be tough to beat, and especially the fans at Whitton Oval, they're going to have a lot to look forward to in the future. Ellie Blackburn's another one as well, 17 touches. And although she came up against a tough GWS midfield, she really found the ball and really looks a threat. She continues her great 2021. GWS, though, they were led by their superstar Beeson. She had 24 touches and really offered a threat throughout. The GWS girls, they work hard, they really attack the ball hard, and their intent is very good. But the Dogs, they didn't have it all their own way. The GWS had the better exchanges, in my opinion, in the early doors. But it's just the Doggies' game plan. They stick to it. It's intense pressure. And at times, it does seem that they can hurt the opposition at will on the counter. 5 goals in a row late in the second and at the beginning of the third really put the Giants to the sword. And the only blot on the Doggies' day really was Berry went down with what looked like a knee injury. GWS gave it a fight, and although Beeson got a lot of the ball, also she was backed up by Eva. She had 14 touches, and it really does say to me that players like her need the ball on the outside more if they're going to threaten these top sides. Alice Parker, though, she's a little demon, isn't she? 16 touches and a staggering 8 tackles. Plenty to take out for GWS. They've got the side there. It's just really, I think, that they need to look to spread it. They don't want to get caught in that congestion. The goals then, 2 good, 3, Huntington 3, McLeod with a sultry goal for the Doggies. GWS, Privetelli, Tully and McKinnon with the goals. Best on ground, Huntington 2 good and Blackburn for the Doggies. Beeson, Parker and Eva for GWS. And up next for GWS, they have the high-flying Lions. And that's going to be a tough game, but they'll take heart that they can really stifle it. They'll really hope to get something from that game and really put in a show, I'd say. It probably won't be a win, but they'll definitely want to, just give them something to worry about. The Doggies, they have an intriguing tie, though. They're up against the Pies on Sunday, and that should be a belter. Talking about the Lions, they beat the Dockers by 11, and all good things do come to an end, as they say, and the Lions ended the Fremantle's 11-game winning streak and in turn put themselves in the conversation of a flag. The Lions worked overtime down the back, stifled any entry very quickly and looked to launch an attack from defence. Emily Bates put on a clinic in the centre, having 26 touches herself, and was a conductor at times of an orchestra of quality, as they stuck to their game plan and did not allow Fremantle to escape and look for that outlet ball. It was a tense contest throughout, and the game could have swung either way at many stages, and the last 10 minutes of this game were as good as you'll see in any discipline, in any sport. Ali Anderson, though, under great pressure, took the honours, slotted home the winner. Freo superstar Kira Bowers, she had 24 touches and 8 tackles, and Antonio had 14 on the flanks, but they just couldn't get anything going against a well-drilled and well-rehearsed Lions side. Houghton was dealt with quite well by the Lion girls. They really did look to stifle her, and in the end that kind of told in the result. Bates dominated. She was aided by Bodie, who had 3 tackles and 17 touches, and Alex Anderson, who not only took a goal but was the definition of pressure throughout, which is needed to beat these top ties. She finished with 9 tackles. The goals then rolled with the sultry goal for Fremantle, Hodder, O'Dwyer and Anderson for Brisbane. Best on ground, Bowers, Antonio and Pugh for Fremantle. Bates, Roddy and Anderson for the Brisbane Lions. And the Lions, they go to GWS and look to really cement their finals hopes. Should be a win for them. It's going to be a tough one, but they'll have enough in the locker there. The Dockers, they have the derby with the West Coast Eagles. They should get back on the winnings podium quite too much. They have too much for the Eagles. We went to Tassie next, and then the Kangaroos ended up beating my beloved Blue Girls by 22. And they really did get back on the winners' podium, and it was a second half performance really that really did cement Carlton's destiny and really get North Melbourne back in the winners' podium and been talking about finals. Carlton did have smart plays for 2 quarters, and although they were missing Maddie Prasparkis, who is an absolute superstar, Jess Hoskin did her best to make way without her. 14 touches and 4 tackles. Mimi Hill looked very good as well. 13 touches, 1 tackle and 2 goals. But they struggled to really get any footing in the centre as North monstered them at times, especially when it counted. Jasmine Garner, she had 32 touches and a goal for her efforts, so she was dominant. She was aided by Jenna Brunton, who herself, she had 23 touches and really took the game on and stretched Carlton, who looked ragged in the second half. But superstar Kearney, she was really the difference maker. 28 touches, 6 tackles, and really provided a springboard. Them 3 in particular took the game away from Carlton late in the 4th. Vesio, though, for Carlton continued her goal-scoring form. 2 typically smart-taken goals. But in the end, when you lose a superstar, it is very hard, and the girls just looked a bit short of the strong North side. Mimi Hill, though, should win the Rising Star this week. She was tremendous. 2 well-taken goals. And they've got a big task on their hands if they're going to make finals. Many people's grand final favourites. It's going to be a tough outing. North Melbourne, then the goals. Abertelangelo 2, Bateman 2, Gillespie Jones and Garner 1 apiece. Bannister, Campbell and King. Carlton, 2 for Vesio, 2 for Hill, Brazali and Stevens with the goals for Carlton. Garner, Kearney and Brutton were the best for the North Melbourne. Stevens, Hoskin and Hill for Carlton. On nets for Carlton, they play the Cats, and that should be a no-brainer. Should see them back on the winners' podium and put finals hopes back on the agenda. North, they take on Richmond on Friday night. Should be a great game, that one. The Crows then defeated Saints by 53. And Adelaide did what Adelaide do, don't they? And real champions put on a show, and it was a resounding victory at Norwood Oval. Ready from the get-go, Adelaide put their foot down and they were there to play, and it was a masterclass from the Crows around the ground. Erin Phillips was her usual self, finishing with 21 touches and 1 goal. She was a constant threat and tough to handle. Marinoff again, proving, in my opinion, why I think she's one of the most underrated players in this competition. She finished with 23 touches and 9 tackles. And what will be exciting for the Crows is they've got so much talent in their lines. Charlton, she snagged twice. Hatchard again, she's the perfect foil for that Adelaide midfield. She finished with 20 touches. And it's a tough outfit. Crows tick the boxes. And I think when it comes finals time, they will be dangerous. Saints, on the other hand, they've had a good year and they'll take note. Patriarchos again was at the forefront of everything Saints. She had 24 touches. Van Dijk, she offers some witch, 15 touches and a bit of zip and some intent off half-back. But Lucas Rod, her and Patriarchos find so much ball in the middle. And they did dominate in the middle. It was just the Crows were too strong and so well drilled. And it is a reason why Crows are just one of the best teams in this competition. Even though she had 24 touches and they did really have the best of the ball in the centre, ahead of them, it's a brick wall from Crows. The Crows then the goals. Charlton 2, Phillips, Mules, Ponta, Randall, Sedonnery and Woodland with goals. Sherlow with the sultry goal for St Kilda. Best on ground, Phillips, Marinoff and Hatchard. Patriarchos, Van Dijk and Lucas Rod for St Kilda. St Kilda now have a tough game against the Demons, and they'll be hoping they can get something out of that, and they will fancy that they can do if they play their game plan, particularly if they dominate out the centre. Adelaide, they face an easy tie. They face the Suns at home. Collingwood then, they beat Melbourne by 35 and they continue their surprise and wonderful season, it has to be said. And this was a demolition job of the Demons and really ended round 5 on the top of the ladder. Molly was simply unplayable, finished with 3 goals from her 8 touches. And David and Benici again dominated the centre, stifling Melbourne of any good ball use and themselves amassing 25 touches for Davey, 23 touches for Maliki. What is impressive about the Pies is their attempt, their hunger, their attack the ball. They move it quickly. It's very pretty to watch. It's very aesthetically pleasing. And although at times the D's themselves had opportunities, what impresses me is the Pies' ruthlessness. When they have an opportunity and it presents itself, they take it. The Demons had the better of the third, but they just couldn't find the scoreboard pressure, and that was really largely thanks to the wonderful pressure of Livingston down the back. Hanks herself for Melbourne had 22 touches and 6 tackles. She worked tirelessly. Pagsman again found a lot of the ball, 19 touches, but in the end the scoreboard pressure wasn't there. The injuries didn't amount to anything, and the Pies simply picked them off and then launched counter-attacks that were devastating. The Pies held firm, and the final quarter they displayed that ruthlessness we talked about, taking 3 unanswered goals. Bree Davey again, 2 of them, and it hurts when she's a Carlton captain there. She took them home, and honestly the Pies are the real deal. Goals then, Molly 3, Davey 2, Sheridan and Cann with the goals for Collingwood. Pearce with the sultry goal for Melbourne. Best on, Molly, David and Beniki for Collingwood. Hanks, Paxman and Scott for Melbourne. And up next, the Pies have a tough test against the Doggies and we'll really find out about them. But I wouldn't put it past them. They're playing good footy and it's very exciting to watch. They win that and they'll be dreaming, I tell you, they'll be dreaming. Melbourne face a tough visit themselves from the Saints, who both sides will be hoping to bounce back, and it should be an exciting encounter. Eagles then, they defeated the Suns by 1 and they finally got on the board after a tough year for both sides, and it was a nail-biter. It could have gone either way, and Gold Coast, they'll take heart in this because they were dogged throughout. The Eagles started well and it did threaten to blow out with 3 unanswered goals in the first, but it was the Suns midfield that then gained the ascendancy, and they did threaten to seal the win. Hearns for the Suns was very steady, 19 touches, and looked to turn defence into attack at all opportunities, but it was the opposites. It was Bowen for the Eagles, who was a threat throughout. She stifled her opposition, 21 touches, and she really can turn defence into attack with just a swift kick of a foot. Swanson and Collier, 22 apiece, really complemented Bowen's game, and although the Suns had opportunities and did have the better of the ball at times, The Eagles just held strong and did what they needed to do and get the win. Stanton did the best to try and get the stuns over the line. 14 touches, 1 goal, 3 behinds. But that back line at Eagles is very strong. And they finally got some goals as well. Cameron and Caulfield, they look very good in the forward half of the Eagles. And the Eagles will take heart. They finally are on the board. West Coast, the goals then. Bowen, Cameron, Caulfield, Kelly and Omre. Gold Coast, Howarth, Parker, Perkins and Stanton. Best on ground, Bowen, Swanson and Collier for me for the Eagles. Ahern, Stanton and Sermon for the Suns. And the Eagles now, they have a derby to worry about with Fremantle. That'll be a tough game. But derbies, anything can happen. The Suns, they face a tough outing to the Crows. Doesn't get any easier in this game. That's the wrap then. What was your takeouts? Who was your favourite? I'll be back next week with your wrap up. Until then, Pom out.